Greetings, everyone. It's Beverly here, Sacred Sensitive Shaman, Spiritual Coach, coming to you on October 6th. How are you today? Let's start with a couple of deep breaths. I'm going to breathe in 3, hold it 3, and exhale 6. Okay? We're going to do that 3 times. 3, 6, and 9 are sacred numbers. So here we go. Breathe in 3, hold 3, exhale 6. Breathe in 3, hold 3, exhale 6. Last time, breathe in 3, hold 3, breathe out 6. Okay, I got inspired to come on tonight and share with you. Well, I'm not an astrologer, but I love to watch Pam Gregory, Bracha Goldsmith, and Kai Pacha, who is usually out of Costa Rica, but he's traveling right now. He's somewhere in Spain. So looking at the astrology, let's see if the volume up good. Looking at the astrology, I will say that it is the exact same as it was right before the American Revolution. So what does that mean? Get ready for a revolution. However, stay calm, stay peaceful, stay grounded, and you do not have to pick up any kind of weapons. And what I'm going to do today or tonight is I am going to share with you some of the tools that I use on a daily basis. And I like the alphabet because it keeps it simple. I was a preschool teacher for 3 years, so we're going to make it so simple that an enlightened 3-year-old could figure this out. We're going to use these tools to help us navigate through these more difficult waters, okay? Because we are heading into difficult waters right now, and I want to help you navigate through it. So let me put my, good. Now I can look right at you. Okay, so A. I'd like to start with talking about affirmations. I've been a student of Louise Hay for years. Those that don't know her, look her up. She is the founder of coordinating physical illnesses with spiritual imbalances and emotional. So yes, we know you can be running and fall and hit your right knee and your knee really hurts and it seems like it's a real physical thing, but we all know that we're body, mind, and spirit. So why the heck is it your right knee? Okay, because the right side of the body is run by the left side of the head, and then that has to do with the masculine, and the knee has to do with ego. So again, it's not negating that you fell and hit that knee and it's swollen, but it's also looking at the spiritual cause for it. So the first thing is, we have this energy going out through the world. They call it a V. I'm just going to refer to it as the V. Not V for Vendetta, but the V. And, there are all kinds of V's going around. We've all had some kind of virus in our body at some point in our lives, and we live with them. They're in our bodies all the time, just like bacteria. But what happens, and according to Antoine Bichon. And he discovered that the biological terrain is more important than the virus or the bacteria or the invader. So we want to create a very alkaline body, okay? And the way to create an alkaline body is not just by eating alkaline organic fruits and vegetables, although that is great. But a way to do that is to balance our emotions, because when we go into flight, fight, and freeze, we actually make our body acidic. Now that will serve you good if you have to quickly turn the wheel because somebody cut you off, and but right now we're being bombarded from so many places all the time right now with this fear, false evidence appearing real. And so one of the affirmations I wanted to go over with you is the Louise Hay one about viruses. And it's about not tapping into the group beliefs, okay? And let me find this affirmation for you so I can say it properly. And you can look at her book, Louise Hay, Heal Your Life. You can heal your life. So I'm going to pull this one up. 1 second. And I'm also going to pull up the one. Here it is. It's for influenza. I am beyond group beliefs or the calendar. I am free from all congestion and influence. I am beyond group beliefs. I am free from congestion and all influence. I am beyond group beliefs or the calendar. I'm free from all congestion and influence. And so basically what that does when you say that on a regular basis, it means we've always said, oh, it's fall time, it's flu season. So we're going to say that it's not flu season for us. And we are not susceptible to a flu or a variant or anything like that. Now, you do that helps with the programming, and then you do your herbs and vitamins and all that, and I'll go into that in another video. Viral infections have to do with kind of like bitterness. It's like there's no joy in this life, and I haven't listened to mainstream media, but it seeps in through my consciousness, especially at night. I'm a sacred sensitive shaman, so I get a lot of messages in my dreams, and sometimes I fly around and I see what's happening, not just in my little protected Northern Virginia area, and it is very rough out there. We know that. So I lovingly allow joy to flow freely through my life. I love me. I lovingly allow joy to flow freely through me. I love me. I lovingly allow joy to flow freely in my life. I love me. One more time. I lovingly allow joy to flow freely through in my life. I love me. So after I've said that, what I do, and we're still at A, so we did the affirmation, and then I do the aroma therapy. And I work with alchemical oil. It's by Mikhail Zayat, and I'll put the link down there because I don't always pronounce it correctly, but he's been around for over 40 years. He comes from ancient Kemet or ancient Egypt, and he was around before these other companies were, which are all good, but he actually comes from a long line of aromatherapists, and he's put together different blends. And this one I recommend for everyone right now, which is self-love. And they come in 4 different sizes, and this is the smallest size you get, and they're very, very, very pure. So you just need a dab, and I put it right here in my third eye. Now, it's been scientifically proven, the statement, stop and smell the roses, actually calms the nervous system, relaxes your body, it relaxes your mind, it helps with the parasympathetic system, the flight and fight. And so, this one has the rose in it and some other. Now, we know pure rose can be expensive. If you can afford some pure rose, go on the website, or the self-love, which is a combination, and this one is love. Go on the website, just mention Earthlight Promotions, and you'll get 10% off your first oil. So this is how I start my day. I do some affirmations, and I do the essential oils. Now, again, I also just get like plain coconut oil. You can get it. I recommend organic. You can get it at Trader Joe's. You can get it at Whole Foods. You can get it at, I like my organic market the best, and because I don't want to make Amazon super, super rich. So I like to get it local, and they're local owners. And I just mix a dab of that. And I just put it on my neck. I put it on my face. It really helps, with keeping you looking young. So anyway, the energy's coming in, so I'm getting a little hot. So I'm going to take this off. Okay, so we've done our affirmation. We've done our aromatherapy. We focused on the fact that we want our inner terrain to be very, very alkaline and pure. Not too alkaline, because if it's too alkaline, then you can get sick as well. But we want it, I think it's like 7.4 or 7.6 to stay alkaline. Now, what you do is you drink water that's filtered, or you drink water that's distilled, or you drink water that is definitely pure. I've actually gone to Berkeley Springs not too long ago, and I got big jugs of spring water that just came right out of the earth in West Virginia. It's about 90 miles from Northern Virginia. So we're 70% water, so drinking pure water is very important. So I also recommend, just to know yourself right now, there's a website, astro.com, and you can put your full name in that's on your birth certificate, even if it's spelled wrong, believe it or not. And that's kind of like, you can find out what is your soul mission. If you don't already know, you may know, but it could clarify it. What are your desires? What are your tendencies? Like, it showed that I'm super sensitive. Well, I've always known that, but it actually showed just by looking at my name on my birth certificate that I'm very sensitive. So let's take that sensitivity and make it into a plus. Let's make it into something that I can help the world with. And so I have done that just within the last few months. During this whole shutdown, I've been able to do a lot of self-reflection and inner work, and taking courses online. I took Ilanya Besant's warrior training. I took an African shaman class that was really wonderful. I took a course with Jean Houston, who's been around forever, and she still looks great. She might even almost be in her mid 80s. So again, this is really a time, if you can afford it, to do some online. I even did the Tony Robbins UPW training. So this is a time to take advantage of all of these YouTube, opportunities, or Zoom opportunities. So again, you've got your affirmations, your oil. Now, in the order that I do it, as soon as I get up, go to the bathroom. Okay, I've got my pure water next to me, so I drink at least a glass of that. So it's really good to drink pure water in the morning. And if it's fall time, I take my probiotic at night. But when I get up, I do take, before I eat, a digestive enzyme. So when I get up in the morning, I do my breath work. Now, I've been really hooked on this Wim Hof method, and it only takes 11 minutes, and 11 is a sacred number. It's just enough time. You just go on YouTube, put on WIMFHOF, and he has it for beginners. And you breathe in and out through the mouth in rapid succession. And you breathe in really deep, and then you let it all out, where your stomach goes in really flat, okay? And then you hold your breath the first time for 30 seconds. Then you do it again. You breathe in. So you breathe in with a little stress, and then you let out, in a more relaxed way. And then when you breathe in, the last time, taking a big breath, and you breathe all the air out, your stomach goes flat, and you hold it for a minute. Then the last time you do the in and out round, You hold your breath for a minute and a half. Now, when I first started, 30 seconds was challenging. And anyone that knows anxiety, I've had a propensity towards that my whole life because I'm very sensitive. It's not always even my stuff. It's just like, people in my family, people in the neighborhood, people who are in the mall, it's just picking it up. The breath work is very powerful for that. However, when you hold your breath and it's like an empty, there's a moment where I panic and I go, oh my God, and it's okay. You don't have to hold it for a whole minute. You'll slowly be able to extend the amount of time you hold it. So when you get into a stressful situation, whether it's somebody that said something that triggered you, whether it's some kind of news story that just came in through your peripheral vision or you were actually watching it, what happens is instead of going, your body is trained to be able to hold your breath and then still be relaxed and still be, not stressed and not have your body's fluids turn acidic, which is a very, unopportune. It's a environment that opportunistic bugs like to populate. They don't like alkaline environments. Okay, so that is very important. So the breath, and I did rebirthing. I did it with Jim Horsley back in the late 90s, and that was very helpful. But you have to have someone right there with you, and I can do this with you if you want. Have an hour session with me, complimentary, and if there's a match, we can actually do some rebirthing together, either through Zoom or in person, depending on how you'd like to do it. And I also have been certified in breathology by Io Handy Kendi, so I can help you, and that will help with subconscious stress that you don't even know. And it could actually be something that's in your bones that you inherited from your great-great-grandmother. So, we hold on to things not knowing, just like the ice cube, the iceberg. And so you just see the tip of it, but then 90% in the subconscious, we're still holding on to something our great grandmother had to deal with, which is not even relevant right now in the environment that we live, but we still get triggered by that stress. So the breath work is really important. And then healing baths. Okay. I love healing baths. I do one at least once a week. First, scrub your bathtub out, okay? You don't want to get too dirty. And then I have a water filter on my shower, so the water is filtered. It doesn't have a bunch of chlorine in it. Let's think of it this way. What does chlorine do? It kills bacteria. And if you're in a swimming pool, you don't want other people's bacteria floating around. That's for sure, especially these days. However, if you take a shower every day, you don't want to shower your body because your skin is the biggest organ absorbing all of this chlorine. It's going to make you what? What's it going to do? It's going to dry your skin out, and it's also going to imbalance the pH. So I get a nice shower filter and then filter out the water and fill up your bathtub. And what I recommend is just good old-fashioned Epsom salts. Now you can get like Celtic sea salt as well. And then you take your different aroma therapies. And like I said, for me, I've been really working on self-love. And self-love is a really good one right now for what we're going through as a collective. And then just the plain love. And all the ingredients are listed on the website. And I will put that, in the description box below. The alchemicalist oils. All right. So when you get in your tub, get it as hot as possible. You put your Epsom salts in, you put in your aroma therapy, and then I like to put on sound healing. I really enjoy the Tibetan bowls. I think I must have had a lifetime in Tibet. Same with my son. His name is Dante Baker, and he plays the Tibetan bowls, the crystal bowls, and also the Native American flute. And those of you that are open to getting together again, they're going to start doing that. He does it at the Edgewood Art Center in DC. and it'll be on the 30th of October. And it has really, really high ceilings. There's plenty of ventilation. It's a huge space. So if just 15 people come, you can do the distancing if you want. You're on your own yoga mat. You can take your mask off. You can actually breathe in the air and you're fine. And then allow the crystal bowls and the Tibetan bowls and the Native American flute to kind of bathe the fluids in your body. The fluids in your body will start to go and create these beautiful crystalline, beautiful, almost like snowflakes. And if you've ever heard of Emoto, he shows that under a microscope, that when you play this kind of music, whether it's Tibetan bowls or crystal bowls, and they're, magnifying at 535 hertz, which is, like the love hertz and things, then the water will turn into these beautiful crystals. But if you are playing rap music that has a negative energy, or rock that has a negative vibration or a lower vibration, then the crystals become very, they're not symmetrical and very disjointed. So again, listening to the Tibetan and crystal bowls will alkaline your body. It will create these beautiful crystals inside, and it'll make it so you are not a good host for any kind of ease. So everything goes together. It's not just one thing or one size fits all. Sound healing, drinking the pure water, doing the affirmations, doing the breath work, getting into a tub that's very hot and sweating it out. I was told a long time ago that when you have any kind of virus or something, it's good to sweat it out. You don't want to go up to 103, but 101, 100, even 102, it's okay. You want to sweat it out. And when you get your body temperature to that level, you're going to dissipate. You dissipate and break up that particular bug. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, I am one of the few people in this area, I don't know anyone else in the greater Washington area, that does ocean oracle readings. Okay, now I had the honor and the pleasure of meeting the author of this. Her name is Michelle Hansen. They used to call her, can't make this stuff up, Shelley as a kid, and she's from Massachusetts. And she just like with crystals, just like black onyx is really good for protection, or black obsidian is really good for protection and cutting cords, and rose quartz is really good for the heart. Someone had to discover that, and so she discovered what shells actually are saying to us. And the thing about it is, she used different kinds of methods. Some was just intuitive. Other was, how does the mollusk, the animal that lives inside the shell, how does it interact with other animals under the sea? How does it interact with humans? She looked at the name and the appearance, so this is a shell necklace that my mother made. And my mother always used to tell me, because she never was really religious, that shells were her therapy. And now I understand why. And this is called a black limpet scallop shell. I believe it's a scallop shell. And it's all about making lemonade out of lemons. Because if you think about it, when a mollusk makes a beautiful pearl, it has to have like an irritation. Right now, we're all being irritated. And out of that irritation, it's usually sand gets in there. It makes this beautiful, beautiful pearl. So this particular shell necklace I have on represents making lemonade out of lemons. And, I had some other necklaces of my mother's, but my first cousin, I only have one first cousin actually on my mother's side, she decided to mail me, and I believe there are two of these, and then the other one is an abalone shell. And with the abalones, believe it or not, they all have different number of holes on them, and each number of hole means something else. So that gets a little more advanced. But I picked a card for anybody who happens to watch this today. And again, today is the 6th 6th of October, I believe it's a new moon in Libra. Libra is about balancing the scales. And I know that I have Libra in my chart, which has to do with like where it is in my chart, I can actually see the relevance of all religions and all races. So I can quote the Dalai Lama, and then I can quote Michael Beckwith of Agape Church, and then I could listen to T.D. Jakes or something. I could listen to Elanya Van Sant. I mean, I am very eclectic. Thich Nhat Hanh, when it comes to spirituality, it's like a smorgasbord, and I just pull the beautiful gold nuggets from all of it. So anyway, the one I picked today, now I have picked up a lot of these on Martha's Vineyard. There's a certain time of year where these sand dollars just show up. Okay, I've picked up. And I've picked up some, also in Costa Rica, I believe. I picked up a bunch of them. Okay, now this is the meaning, according to the Ocean Oracle, what seashells reveal about our true nature means. This is the short version, okay? And then I'll read more. Something being overlooked, the connection between the divine and one's role in all life experiences, both good and bad. Okay, now what's really amazing that I picked this, because there are 200 shells that I could have picked today, but I picked this one, especially the times we're going through. As I said, if you listen to Pam Gregory, you're going to see the astrology is just about the same with this Pluto going through here. I don't know all the terms, quincunx, whatever, going conjunction. Listen to the video, Pam Gregory, just right before the American Revolution. And we know the American Revolution was about the colonists being very upset at how much they were being taxed and controlled. Similar to what's happening right now in their freedoms. And so what's happening right now is we're going through this squeeze, like when you're giving birth, it's like the Braxton Hicks, that's what's happening. And something's got to give, okay, before this beautiful baby is being born. So the thing about the sand dollar is if you look at it again, let me just give you a close up. It's got 5 slits in it. So the 5 slits, according to Michelle, represent the Christ consciousness, because Christ was put on a cross and he had the nails through the hand, through the feet, and then one dagger right here. Now, what's really amazing about this is it's not about being a victim or being a sacrificial lamb right now on the planet. What it is much has been written comparing the appearance of the sand dollar to various aspects of the life of Jesus. And again, I'm into universal consciousness. So if you are a strict Christian, you'll like this message. And if you're a Muslim, you'll like this message. It's universal. This is about the universal Christ consciousness. There are 5 slits depicting the wounds. 4 are the nails, and 1 is the wound from the spear. Impressions of the Easter lily and poinsettia appear on the front and the back surface represent. So you can see like the poinsettia. See that? Yes. Okay. When a sand dollar is broken, it's like the animal's teeth come loose and they resemble white doves. And we know that the white doves also represent the Mother Mary energy. And I had 2 doves living on my porch. Those of you that follow me on Facebook, they weren't white, they were gray, but still it did resonate with the Mary energy for me. More of the Mary Magdalene, actually. Whatever your religious beliefs, whatever you consider Jesus to be, whether you consider him to be the Son of God or a advanced teacher or prophet, okay, we all are composed of, inside, we're all composed of the same divine energy. And if the sand dollar contains evidence of God's dwelling within, it reflects the fact that God dwells within every single one of us. We are powerful beings who create, or co-create our lives based on a belief system. When we experience difficulties, it may be difficult to accept the notion we create our misery. The good news is that we are not victims. We have the power to create a hell on earth or a paradise through awareness and the choice is ours. So what I'm seeing now, as I said, the astrology is like the American Revolution. We can create a hell on earth or we can create a heaven. And I am voting for, and it only takes 10% of us to create a heaven on earth right now. And how do we do that? It starts with each individual person. Now, when it says you can create your own hell, as I said before, when you're looking at the iceberg, 90% of it is subconscious. So you can consciously say the affirmation that is positive and you can put on a smile. But if subconsciously, because of childhood trauma, ancestral trauma, which is up all over the planet, racial trauma, which is really all up on the planet, class trauma, all of that. And that's really could be running the show of whether you're worthy of having this peaceful, beautiful life with a divine partner, with a nice husband, a wonderful community, even if you live alone, having just peace. And the thing is that this is the time more than ever to be vigilant in your practices so we can all together focus on the highest timeline of this oneness coming together, because there's so much decisiveness, just like with the V. Some people got it, some people didn't, and some people had, hours and hours of research why they got it. Some people had hours and hours of research why they didn't. Some people had no reaction. Some people had horrible reactions. That is not a reason to ostracize anybody. We all have to do our practices and keep our vibration high and not polarize if one person has decided to do one thing and another has decided to do another, whether it's the V or whether it's the, who you voted for or any of those things. And so right now, I would say this is the time to focus on the highest timeline for yourself first and then for humanity. So if you see something out there you really don't like, maybe it's what's happening at the border, or maybe it's what's happening over in, somewhere else that starts with an A that I don't even want to say the name, then really visualize, verbalize, breathe out. What is the highest good for humanity to heal that situation? And enough of us do it. It's been scientifically proven. They've had people meditating on the Gaza Strip, and there weren't any, bombs that went off for a while. We can do this because we are at the end of a 26,000 year cycle. We're end of I believe is it 2,500 year cycle too, the Mayan calendar. I mean, all of these cycles. So we're really in the very, very beginning stages of birthing, the age of Aquarius. And I have a friend that just gave birth and she's just so beautiful. But, it hurts when you're going through labor pains. The baby is totally worth it, but it does hurt and it's messy and you get exhausted. And so this is what's happening. So you've got to keep your spine strong. Now, another thing, like I said, I'm going through the alphabet here. So I'm going to go, slowly through each one. I'm just going to go up to C. So you start with your breath work. That's what I do in the morning. Get up, go to the bathroom. I do my 11-minute Wim Hof. If you can do more, that's great. That's what I do. And he helps thousands of people all over the world, if not millions at this point. Take a nice shower. Then you do your affirmation, your aroma therapy, and create a terrain in your body so you're alkaline. So look at what you're eating. Are you going to a farmer's market? Are you getting things that are organic? Did you throw the microwave out because that kills all the live enzymes? Look at what you're putting in your body and look at when you're eating. There was a young person in the family that passed away a couple of weeks ago, just out of the blue. I don't know what happened. I don't know. And I find myself wanting to eat macaroni and cheese, and I haven't eaten cheese in I don't know how long. But that was a way for little Beverly, the little child in me, to basically mask the pain. And I met a vegan who said that getting off cheese is almost as hard as getting off heroin. Well, thank God in this life I haven't done heroin, but it creates something, it's that addictive. But I knew, I said, I'm going to consciously eat some macaroni and cheese, or maybe it was a slice of pizza, because I'm pretty much gluten intolerant because of the glucosidase and the GMOs in the gluten in the wheat. I wasn't before they did all that stuff. Trust me, I had plenty of wheat sandwiches growing up, but now I can only eat gluten-free food. What about you? Do you think that it's normal to get like bloated after you have a piece of bread? Do you think it's normal to have an upset stomach and headache, feel exhausted? Again, body, mind, and spirit. Now we can do all the affirmations we want and we can do our breath work, but if we're drinking water that is contaminated, it's going to affect us unless you're a high, you know, Buddhist monk somewhere. You know, I've seen those videos where they can actually, you know, crack a light bulb and lick it. But that's because they're on such a high vibration. I don't have that kind of time, you know, to do 12 hours and meditate. Now, maybe in the future I'll be able to levitate and stuff, but right now I want to eat a pure diet and I want to stay as clean as possible. So the next one thing I want to go over with you is about 8 years ago, I went to South Africa. And I don't know if you can see, but that is one of the white lions. And the other one here, that's Mara. She was the first white lion to be rescued from a dungeon. Yeah, a dungeon in South Africa, because it is a profitable business for, I will say, uncouth, I would say out of integrity business people, to, when they find these beautiful white lions, to capture them and sell them to be put on a wall as a trophy. However, the word has gotten out over the last few years, and very few business people are going to pay $100,000 to kill them. It is not fashionable anymore, thank goodness. But they do represent the Christ consciousness, and I'll tell you why. Because Linda Tucker, she wrote a couple books about it, and she connected with a Sangoma, which is basically just the South African term for shaman. And her name was Maria Kosa. And Maria Kosa was called the Queen of the Lions. And she walked through a field of lions that were surrounding Linda Tucker and about 6 other people who were on safari, and their Jeep just went kaputs. And those lions did not want to eat them or kill them or rip them to shreds. They just told Maria Kosa, the woman who was the Sangoma, called the lion, the Queen of the Lions, that there were some pesky people in their neighborhood, and they had driven too close to their territory. And, you know, one of the lions had beautiful cubs and just being protective. So anyway, the point was that convinced Linda Tucker to investigate more about the symbolism of the white lions. And the white lions represent the birth of the Christ consciousness. And so I have the deck, not many people have it. And this is the lion card that I picked for today. Okay. And it's magic. Now, I'm not a card reader, but what I do with my spiritual coaching is I usually pull just one card for people. The rest of it is working on tools, whether it's breath work or it's affirmations or it's, you know, working out. I worked in a women's gym for 12 years, or what you're eating. But I do like to pull at least one card if you're open to it. And this is the one I picked for us today, magic. Okay. And they're each in different categories. And this is the category of qualities. And so right now, what we're going through on the planet, we could use some magic. All right. So I'm going to look this one up, and I'm just going to give you a brief synopsis of it. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Page 26. Okay, let me get in closer. Hope you're having fun. I am. The hardest part, just like doing yoga class, I love my yoga class. The hardest part is getting past the negative chatter that says, oh, you're tired this morning. Oh, you don't really have to do it. Oh, and every single time when I do, whether it's the Kundalini yoga, which is an hour and 15 minutes on Sunday, or whether it is the gentle yoga too, or it's the hatha yoga, I always feel better. My spine is taller. I am not hunching over at all. I see 18-year-olds already hunching over. I sit up nice and tall, and I feel better, and I feel stronger, and I'm more limber. So again, it's getting past the negative chatter. Maybe you had an experience in a gym where you really overdid it in a yoga class, and now the mind's job is to protect you and says, no, 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 don't do yoga. You could get hurt. I have a friend like that. And it was just that one time. You're actually hurting yourself day in and day out by not stretching. Just walking is not enough. Just yoga is not enough unless you're also doing some weight bearing exercises. Now, you don't have to. I like to do at least 3 to 5 pounds, but you can use your own body weight as well. So that's a whole nother subject. But again, so I'm going to go to magic here under qualities. And again, this is all related to October. This is all related to what's going on right now on the planet. Nature is magical and magic is natural. Now, I walk in the woods every single day, rain, shine, cold, hot, 105, negative 30, snowstorm, at least 5 days a week for 30 minutes. Now, I do that because I do take care of some neighbors' dogs. But even if I didn't do that, well, let's put it this way. No matter how much money I have in the bank, I do it for the connection with nature, the connection with the animals, and the connection with my body outside in nature. It forces me because goodness knows how many times this summer was it so hot. I was just like, I don't want to go. But I had to go because the dog had to go. All right. So the basic guidance, this card indicates that a divine, magical, positive opportunity surrounds the situation. Magic can be felt in the occurrence of a longed outcome which you thought was impossible. Keep connecting to your source and watch the magic unfold. The magical event will give you the courage and strength to continue life's journey. Write down the magical event when it happens and help you remember. It's a wonderful details. You can reread it. Okay, so basically, this is talking about creating your magic right now. Okay, and this is the time to do it. So whatever your vision is, this is the time to do it. The highest timeline for yourself and humanity. Do not listen to the lower vibration that is fear, jealousy, and anger. And just as I said that, this humongous, looks like a wasp, like a killer wasp just came in to my place. I kid you not. Talking about overcoming your fear. It does not look like some beautiful bee or something. It is menacing looking. So I'm being challenged right now by this killer looking wasp that's just floating in there. Oh my goodness. Can't make this stuff up. Oh, the other day, a very beautiful dragonfly came in and I posted that. This thing is not beautiful. Hold on. All right, well, I'm not going to worry about it. If I can get in the picture, I will, if it wants to show itself. But yeah, so I'm going to be my warrior self. It's probably this big, and it looks like a killer wasp. I don't know if I should report it or not, but it's definitely not a beautiful bumblebee that makes honey. All right, let's go back to this. All right. If your wish is in accordance with the outcomes that appear before your eyes, but if you close yourself off, whether through criticism, disenchantment, or disengagement, magic will dissolve from your life again. So it's basically believe in the magic. So no matter how dark it's looking out there in the collective, in the now, I like to say too, don't buy into that. Focus on the fact that it does not matter what you're seeing on the media. We, as a collective, can create a higher timeline where we're birthing the age of Aquarius, where there is a more egalitarian society. It's not that they're trillionaires or billionaires, and then there are people that don't even have a latrine to go to the bathroom with, just basic needs. I don't get into the political thing, but you know what I'm talking about right now. So focus on what kind of world you'd like to see. There's plenty of food to go around. There's plenty of abundance if there weren't some beings hoarding it. So that's the message, is the magic and the sand dollar, which is about being in the Christed light and creating, not from a victim point. That doesn't mean that we haven't been victimized, doesn't mean that you didn't have someone steal something from you, or a boyfriend, abuse you in some way, or a girlfriend or whatever. It's not denying it, but it's actually letting it go through the breath, through the bath, affirming the highest that you would like, that you desire, that you deserve, and focusing on that for yourself, your family, and the entire society. Okay. By the way, I go for a walk at least 5 times a week, and I always pick up feathers. I believe this is an owl feather. Okay. Now, I'm not a feather expert, but owl was the very first totem that I picked when I got the cards in 1998, which is like Animal Speaks. And the owl is about wisdom and is about seeing beneath the veil. All right, let's go to one more. See. Child work. So it all goes together. So when you do the breathing, the connected breathing, inner childhood wounds may come up. And I actually am an advocate for crying, because in this society, a lot of people don't let out their painful emotions. They stuff it with food, illegal drugs, pornography, going from relationship to relationship. So when I did my ayahuasca experience in 2007, the first one in Monkey Island in Peru, I had a very strong shaman, Pandora, holding space for me. And I had to relive some victimization that occurred to me in my teenage years. And some of it was related to racism. I don't know if you know, I'm like both races, and I'm fine with both of them. However, at the time, there were people that weren't fine with that. And so what happened was I had to face the perpetrator. And then I had to go through the pain. And I cried and I cried, and I was like blocking the punches or whatever was happening to me. And then the beauty of it was I purged, and the shaman helped me. He came over with a big pipe, tobacco, which is the masculine, ayahuasca is the feminine. He blew it into my crown chakra. I purged, and then I could see that that perpetrator had also been a victim. And so had his father, and so had his mother. So all he was doing to me is what he perceived white people had done, or had done to him, even though I'm not really white. It was just his victimization, and then he lashed out at me, and I forgave him, and then I saw like millions of stars, and it was all beautiful. And now I have no post-traumatic stress when it happens to go into certain neighborhoods. So again, yeah, if you feel somebody's tracking you or they're after you, but post-traumatic stress is you're constantly going into flight or fight when people aren't even trying to do anything to you. And that's what the ayahuasca experience, my first one, did for me. And I'll tell you more about that. But the childhood wounding will come up when you're breathing. And when you're breathing and it comes up, what we do is we get the menacing wasp, shoot. What we do is we actually say an affirmation to counteract whatever that childhood wound is. So for me, it was, you're not legitimate. that came up in my first rebirthing session with Jim Worsley, who studied with Babaji back in the 70s in India. The Babaji that's written about by Leonard Orr in the book, I think it's called something about immortal. And anyway, what happened is I just kept saying, I'm legitimate, I'm legitimate. And then there's a certain amount of affirmations that are kind of like standard for people that suffer from the abandonment. You know, it's like the classic rebirthing. I forgive my mother for allowing the doctor to separating me from her at birth. I forgive my mother for, you know, whatever. It all has to do with the abandonment issues that a lot of young children feel when they're first born. It's just kind of a universal thing. And some of us feel it more than others, depending on the circumstances of our birth. So anyway, I got 10 more minutes. I am going to say something about crystals. So rose quartz. Right now would be a good time to maybe put it in your bra if you're a guy. You know, put it in a pouch, put it in your pocket. Again, back to this self-love, because the earth is going through a big rebirthing process. Self-love is really important. So I like to keep the crystals on me. I keep them in my little purse that I carry all the time, but it is good for it to actually touch your skin. Excuse me. I'm back. So I carry around this little purse everywhere. Hello, menacing wasp. You're my friend. I'm going to make friends with this thing. That's what I get for leaving my screen door that wide open. Here's my pouch. Do you have a pouch of crystals? Do you ever walk around with them? Again, if you do wear a bra, you can put them in your bra as well. If you have a pocket, you can put it in your pocket, or you can just carry them. So I have this one, the tiger eye. And the tiger eye, actually, I put in my belly button sometimes. It really helps with female imbalances. You know, anything that has to do with female stuff. You know, whether you're a young female or getting to be a mage or a crone, this helps with that. And here, I have my rose quartz. And then inside my bra, I have a black obsidian for protection. So when I was studying with the Andean shamans, they recommend that you wear black underwear, like the granny kind, that cover your dantian. The dantian is between the belly button and the pubic bone. And the reason they recommend that when you're doing healing is so you don't get too attached to your client's issues. Okay? And so this is my Andean mesa. And inside are sacred stones. And the stones can be just something as simple as stones from the river. I have a couple stones right from around here. I have some stones from the beaches of Martha's Vineyard. I have some stones from a beautiful Amistani Island in Lake Titicaca area of Peru. And I have some shells in here. And you wrap it in a beautiful cloth, and then you tie it, and then I put these feathers, and then you just touch the crown chakra, the heart, and the dantian. And then when you have your client, you can just rub it all the way down their back, 33 vertebrae, spine, and then make a cross across their back. And then after you've done that, you could just blow on it and then take some Florida water, or I like the spray bottle because I'm sensitive to put the thing in my mouth. So yeah. So that's my Andean mesa. I haven't used it lately. I don't think I've used it since this whole, V thing started, because I use this with people in person. But this is the mesa. And then you could take your stones out, and I put it in a bowl of water with a little bit of sea salt during the full moon, and it cleanses it. So, and then the new moon, I put some stones out there for charging. Okay. So it's important to wash and cleanse your stones, especially if you are working on people and you're absorbing. And here is absorbing the hucha. Hucha is just a Quechua word for heavy energy. Heavy energy could be something as simple as you're working with someone who's very jealous because their boyfriend is with someone else, and you're clearing that. Hucha doesn't have to be some big demon thing. It can just be, feeling sad, feeling unmotivated, drinking a little bit too much, a little bit of sloth. You eat too much pizza. You know, but if you're doing something really, really big with someone, pull out the swords and just cut the unhealthy attachment. So that's what I do. Cut the unhealthy attachments using the swords. And after you use all of these things, remember, I just spray it with Aroma Therapy. I don't like to put it in my mouth and spit it out, but that's what the indigenous medicine people of Peru do. So I hope that was helpful. So let me do my recap because it looks like I'm almost at an hour. So as we're going through this month of October, we're going to go A, affirmations. And I gave you a nice affirmation that have to do with viruses. And then aromatherapy. Self-love is really good for right now. And I have other ones that I'll recommend. And I have a newsletter. It goes out every month. It went out today. So if you go on earthlightpromotions.com, you can sign up for the newsletter. And astrology, I do recommend listening to Bracha Goldsmith, Pam Grace, I believe. Yeah, Pam Grace, and Kaipacha. Healing bath, put in your Epsom salt, put in your aromatherapy, put in your sound healing, and cleanse yourself. You could even put some flowers in there, just put in some white flowers for purity. That's very helpful. And you could do your breath work, your 11-minute breath work in the bathtub. That's very powerful. I like the Wim Hof method. And C, crystals. There's an array of crystals. I carry them with me. You can put some in your bath. And child work basically is in conjunction with the breath work. You're starting to heal your inner child when you do that with the rebirthing. And, I forgot to say candle. Like get some white candles, white, silver, or gold, and light them. And at a new moon is a good time for what you're praying for. And the full moon is what you want to release. So I hope this was helpful. If you would like to try a ocean oracle reading, I'm offering for the first 5 people that contact me 100% complimentary. And I send you the pictures of 200 shells, and you say your name exactly as it's written on your birth certificate. And then you ask a question, and then you just look through the pictures of the shells. And whichever 8 to 10 pop out at you, you email me those. They come with a number on them. And then 3 to 4 that you don't like at all, that you find unattractive and you're not attracted to. And then it comes together as an answer to this question. Again, not a yes or no question, something more broad, like, I'm working on my book and why is it taking me so long, or something like that. Those are the kind of questions that I get. Or what does 2022 look like for me? Or, I'm open to love now. I've been celibate for 10 years or something, but not like, is Joe, the guy for me? Because it's a lot deeper than that. So Earthlight Promotion, Sacred Sensitive Shaman, Spiritual Coach, Beverly, call on me, and I can help you with balancing your energy, just doing everything that I've been doing for myself, basically through these last 18 months. But I started studying holistic medicine, believe it or not, 20 years ago. All right. Namaste, and I will end with some chimes. I'm a bright, beautiful being that has a lot to offer the world. I'm a bright, beautiful being that has a lot to offer the world. I'm a bright, beautiful being that has a lot to offer the world. Namaste. Ashe. Peace to my Earth Light family. Thank you for watching.